Hello and a very warm welcome to this week's episode of Out and About in the UK. A little bit later in the show, Maggie will be at the Grange St Paul's Hotel in central London for the Kerry GAA fundraiser for the Centre of Excellence in the county. But first I'm here at the Claddagh Ring in Hendon for the launch of a new independent film called Jack Mulligan. So let's head inside and meet some of the cast and crew. Andy, we're here in the Claddagh Ring in Hendon to raise money for the Jack Mulligan project. Tell us about tonight. What's happening?
We've got three bands here tonight. My own band, the Bible Code Sundays, the Monday Club, and Maggie Hegarty playing here tonight. And we've got DJ Phelan as well. We can't forget him.
And tell us about the Jack Mulligan project itself. It's a short movie. Some big actors in it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's written by myself. We've got Steve Collins, the former world champion boxer, in it. Noel Razor Smith, who's a best-selling true crime author. We've got James Quinn McDonough, who's an author now himself, an actor, and also he was a former bare-knuckle boxing champion. And we've got Neil Razor Ruddock, former Liverpool and England footballer in there. Matthew Macklin, ex-Irish, British and European boxing champion. It's a half-hour crime drama set in the immigrant communities of Notting Hill Gate, Westbourne Park, Ladbroke Grove. This particular story is about an Irish family. An ex-gang member comes back into the neighbourhood to avenge a wrong that was done to him by his former gang boss. I started writing the songs for the bands with Ronan and Ender. We were the main songwriters. And I've always been a huge film fan, movie buff, and I wanted to, spread my wings a little bit and tell stories that lasted a little bit more than 3 or 4 minutes of a song. My debut short film, Tax City, which premiered at BAFTA in Piccadilly to 2 sold-out screenings, which was pretty overwhelming, really. And we had Steve Collins on board for that as well, and Noel Razor Smith. Tom Begley directed it again. So, yeah, it's been, quite a, exciting few years.
And your Irish background, it means an awful lot to you, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, very much so, yeah. My parents are both from County Longford, Edgeworthstown and Ballymahon. And, I learned music from a very young age, and I've always been, around this community since I was born. So it's just everything that I am and everything that I know. And, meeting all the immigrants coming over for the last 20, 30 years and making new friends, and it's very important to us.
Noel, we're here in the Claddagh Ring in Hendon to raise funds for the upcoming series, the Jack Mulligan series. Tell me about the part that you're playing in the film.
I'm playing one of the gang, Horseface. It's quite a small part of what I've seen of the script, but it suits me nice. It's a bit of dialogue and a bit of action, and I love that sort of thing, so great.
And tell us about your background. You're a very successful writer.
I spent 30 years in prison for bank robbery, and whilst I was inside I learned to read and write, and wrote my first book in 1996, which became a bestseller. And I've written 7 books since then. I've got one coming out in August about prison slang. I don't write fiction. It's only mainly autobiographical stuff.
So would you look upon, obviously 30 years, it's a big chunk of your life, but you've taken some positives from it, obviously, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to really. I mean, if you look at it, 30 years in prison is a waste, which it is really a waste. But I've done something with my time in there, and I've managed to do something since I've been out. I've been out for 5.5 years now, which is the longest I've ever been out in my life. And, things are going well for me, so I'm really pleased with that.
So we're going to put all that behind you now, I'm sure, and your writing and your acting career is going to move you forward, I presume.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of talks in young offenders' prisons now, and talking universities and stuff about the futility of crime, really. And try and encourage kids to write, get yourself educated. Education is the key to rehabilitation as far as I'm concerned.
Tell us about your involvement in the Jack Mulligan project.
Well, what really got me interested in the whole process in the beginning was I based in Hollywood in my boxing career as world champion, and I met a lot of young actors, up-and-coming actors, and I found that I found a very competitive and exciting business, the movie business, and it appealed to me. And it's taken me almost 10 years to get to where I am today, because I wanted to be. People know me as an ex-fighter, ex-boxer. You apply for parts in movies, it's kind of hard for them to take you serious, you know. You get offered parts of bouncers, doorman, heavies, and you don't really want that. So it's got to the stage now, after a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of mistakes, a lot of learning. I'm now getting roles that are classed as more serious roles. I'm getting some leading roles in, you know, low-budget movies and so on, which is obviously where you cut your teeth and save your apprenticeship. It's a very exciting time, and the Jack Mulligan is a great short movie to be part of, because it's got some young up-and-coming and some established actors in the film, and I'm really looking forward to it. I will say the guys are working really hard to raise funds. The more funds they raise, the more they can invest in, you know, in cameras and props and everything else, and you know, a lot of people have donated items to auction for the night, so every penny raised tonight goes towards the making of the movie, which, you know, this movie will bring success and hopefully lead on to the feature film that Andy Nolan has in the bag, and hopefully one day we'll make it, and that's called The Clan London. And when that happens, it's going to be something really special.
And ultimately, what's the end goal in terms of your filming career?
My end goal as an amateur boxer was to become world champion. You know, in the movie business, yeah, Hollywood, of course you want to make it to Hollywood. Hollywood is, you get to Hollywood, you've made it. I've got a lot of friends out there, you know, very well-established actors. I've got guys out there struggling to make it as actors, and if it's a business you're in and you make it, you end up in Hollywood. If I make it to Hollywood, great. If I don't, it doesn't matter. I'm enjoying the challenge, and I'm enjoying the experience, and I'm hoping to progress and get to a level where it's fun. It is fun. I hope to get to a level where I make a living out of it. Maybe, who knows, someday. Never know.
Today I saw a butterfly, saw some rays shine through its wings. There's some blue, fragile and bright, pretty thing, be applied to all of life.
The directorial career started a good few years ago now, probably about 15 years ago, by accident. In the theatre. Actually, I started at the Riverside in Hammersmith. I was actually an actor in the show, and the director at the time kind of lost the plot most of the way through, and I was asked to come in and direct the rest of the show, which I did do. And ever since then, it's kind of moved from one show to the next, into TV, into film, and from there into Jack Mulligan, which is where we are tonight.
Tell us about what goes into directing a film like this.
Well, we started this process probably about 5 months ago, where Andy and I initially sat down and looked at the script, and we're at our 9th draft at the moment, which is probably going to be the final draft. We have seen probably the guts of 200 actors for various roles. We've had them back for recalls, and we've been looking at locations, we've been looking at the dynamics of the people who come in, so everything has to look right and feel right. So yeah, so it's you know, it's not glam what people think it is. Absolutely no way. You know, there's a lot of man hours have got into this, and it's, you know, it's for the love of the art, shall we say.
So for people back home that are, you know, looking forward to this film, when can they expect to see it?
I'd like to think that the post-production will be finished by December. You know, I mean, that's what I'm hoping. But you know, it all depends on how the shoot goes itself. If we have to do any retakes, etc., etc. But I would like to think by the end of the year for sure. That's what I'm penciling in.
people want to find out more about the Jack Mulligan product, can they log on to any site to find out more?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. You can go onto Facebook there, and there's also links there. We've got a GoFundMe campaign at the moment where you can contribute to the film. Any donation, whether it be £5, £10, £20, all donations are welcome, and you'll see a link there on the Jack Mulligan Facebook page to where you can donate and help us make this film.
She looks at me and smiles, she the bell virus crowd. Back to the line, the star of the county down. Oh, from she lay out, dirty kid, falling on the town. No, baby, I see, she's calling on me up to the county down. Yeah. Never sits in the road for beer can. Fair square is been dear to the charms of Roosevelt. But nor ends that I are not telling yet that I'm poor for the rose account. Oh, insurance and last your rent from the star of the county down. Oh, for a man she lay out dirty kid, going another town.
We're going to take a break right now, but do come back to us for the second half of the show, where Maggie will be at the Grange St Paul's Hotel in central London for the Kerry GAA fundraiser.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here at the Grange St Paul's Hotel in London for the Kerry GAA Gala dinner. I'll be meeting lots of the organisers and lots of people from Kerry here tonight. Kerry has indeed come to London for a glitzy evening.
It's a great occasion, and raising money for that big complex in Collins in Kerry. And Kerry badly need this complex, Maggie, because they are falling behind a lot of other counties. And they are from pillar to post now trying to train teams. It's not just about training the Kerry senior football team. It's about training all the Kerry teams and the ladies football teams. So all this new complex is going to cover all that. And it's a massive job, really, raising money, isn't it?
It consists of 48 acres in Corns and County Kerry. We're developing 6 floodlight pitches and an area where we can train indoors, plus kitchens, medical rooms, and also a part of our centre we're developing is a sports area in the Truly IT, which will be the sports science of what we're trying to put together. Like.
And so is this about the future, I suppose, of Kerry GAA, more about the current sort of team, as it were?
Well, the biggest problem we have at the moment in Kerry is when it comes to winter time, we have only 4 or 5 floodlight pitches, and the clubs own them. And so when the weather is bad, we can't get in to train. And so many a night we had to go to Cork or Limerick to train, both in hurling and football. And in the present time, with the way the sport is going, we find that we're kind of against the grain, against everything. And at the moment, this centre will mean a lot to us. It will be a focal point where we can have a lot of players that the development squads, a whole lot, their history will be put behind, their medical history, their playing history, everything will be, and it gives us that kind of a niche going forward to be a bit more competitive, especially like against Dublin and all the big centres like where we're struggling. Like.
I suppose it's been a long time in the preparation for a night like this to all come together, but the folks at the Kerry Association have been working very hard.
They have, but you know, this came together in 2 months. I said it's about 10 weeks since we met, since they came over and we met in the Crown Warden, and it all took from there. But a great committee got together. John Chu there, I've been chairman at the time, and my daughter Julia was secretary, and then with Tara Crown took over the head. But a wonderful team came together, and it all happened in the space of 2 months. So I think, you know, the short of the time and get things over and done with it was fantastic. In the meantime, I got a bit of a setback myself. I got a bit of a knee problem, but I'm delighted and honoured to be here tonight.
Without further ado, what are you going to sing for us?
I'll give you a little song, the home I left behind. I was born by a mountainside, by yonder flowing stream, and it barely pictures in my mind those memories, thoughts and green. And it oft times nearly breaks my heart, and it gives me a troubled mind when I think of dear old Ireland and the home I've left behind. It was early next morning with a sad and broken heart. I stood upon my father's floor, saying sad that we both must part. My mother's arms around my neck, and the tears from her eyes did flow, as I tore out from her arms in the home I've left behind.
So Jerry, you're one of the organisers of this particular night.
Yes.
We heard from Danny O'Sullivan earlier, who said that you met 2 months ago,
Yes.
and now tonight here we are. Tell us what's been happening in that 8 weeks.
Well, we have discussed it a few times with Patrick Sullivan, our chairman, and the guys over the last year. It was going to happen. So then when we met 2 months ago, we said, that's it, let's go for it. So this was the only date, really, before the Munster final to get it done. Hopefully we'll raise a lot of money. It's a sellout, and the hotel are fantastic. We know the owner, he's been very helpful to us, and he's made sure, he's made it happen with us. So we want to give something back to Kerry for the pleasure we have watching him year in, year out.
We're obviously over here to promote Kerry football, and there's a big centre of excellence happening back in Currans, which is actually in the Curra parish where I'm from. So it's all for the love of the game.
Now, Owen, is it easy for you guys to come over and make sure that GAA is alive and definitely kicking in London and the UK?
It's not easy. We're trying our best. Look, it's lovely to come over here. We're over here on a mission. We're fundraising for us, what Mick said there, and we've been very successful. We're just the last few 100,000 to be collected now, so that the Centre of Excellence will be debt-free starting off, and that means a lot to us, and we're delighted about that.
You were very successful yourself as a player, of course, Owen, and I'm just wondering, has the game changed an awful lot since you were on the pitch?
No, it has got slower. The skill level has dropped. No, look, it has, of course. Every game gets better as the years go. Sports science has come into it now big time, and nutrition, the way people train, the way they rest, they're doing everything right now, and the game is never better. I don't know any sport that gets worse over the years. So we're not fooling ourselves. The teams of today would hammer us, and we know that. But that's not what it's about. It's great that the game is getting better. We're all enjoying it better.
Of course, McGalway, are you the only person to have both a rugby medal and an All-Ireland medal at the same time?
Yes.
That's quite something, isn't it?
It is actually. I suppose at the time I didn't think much of it, but the older you get, the more you realise it, and yeah, it's just lovely. I was very blessed to be involved with Kerry back in the day, and back in 1986, and of course I was blessed to be involved with Ireland from 91 to 2002, and yeah, it's great.
Pulled you off the stage, Marty, quickly to have a word with us. It's great that you're here, of course, to host this evening. How is it that the GAA seemed to spread itself so wide?
Well, first of all, I'm delighted to be here as a mere mortal Clareman, to be in with all these legends from Kerry, from across the River Shannon. For me, I'm humbled by it because I loved these guys. These were just top of the game completely. I suppose the GAA is a family. It's a funny thing, like when my father died 10 years ago, one of the first cars that pulled up outside our house in West Clare was Paddy O'Shea, the late Paddy O'Shea. He had heard it somewhere. And I think in times of this, when it's fun, or in times of sadness, when you need a bit of support, no matter where you're from, the GAA family kind of come together. And it is there. It's there when you need them most. But tonight is a night of celebration. And tonight they're from Cork, they're from Dublin, they're from all over the country. But I suppose we all kind of are in awe of Kerry, because Kerry have that little sprinkle of magic, you know, every summer.
And it's understandable, of course, why they want this centre of excellence. And this is what tonight is all about. They're wanting to raise money to make sure that they've got the proper facilities. What's fascinating is, from this side of the water, you meet British people who are getting an interest in GAA. They're starting to. Yeah. They can't believe that it's an amateur sport.
The gospel of Gaelic football and hurling is spreading. London, of course, has a strong, very strong connection traditionally, and with the various cups and everything else, there is a strong connection. So I suppose I'm not surprised, because when you look at other sports and when you see what we have, hurling is unquestionably the best game in the world, the speed of it. Gaelic football is kind of going through a little bit of a transition at the moment, but it's still, to me, one of the best games in the world. And particularly, and I'm not being plumosy here, particularly when Kerry play it, they just have it. They have the little swerve, and they have the kicking, and they have everything. So I suppose I'm delighted as an Irishman to see our native games going around the world.
Lots of people, of course, moving to London, young people especially, do try and sort of find their county associations, don't they? Do you find that more and more people keep on joining?
It's kind of tough getting a younger generation to join. They're more interested in the GAA side of it, and I think there's a thing as well that they're not too sure what we actually are about, because we do fundraise for different things that are in need, people that are in need, organisations, charities, anything that's close to any community members' hearts. So I would urge younger members to do join, because we do need that the young mind to see things that the rest might not see. I'd be the youngest person on the board at 26, so I do need some people to come and help me out.
London is a place, of course, where there seems to be fundraising nights on every night of the week, and balls and all the rest of it. So is it hard to tap into a community like London?
It is. I think because of the short timescale that we were given, we went for probably Kerry people and people with direct links with Kerry. So it was pretty focused. We've organised this over the last probably 3 to 4 months, and previous interviews may have suggested that it's been a short timescale. So we went for pretty much, first generation Kerry people. Maybe next year's event might be somewhat different anyway, you know.
So there's going to be another one next year?
Well, it's the inaugural event. There may well be another one next year.
Well, that's it from the Kerry GAA Gala dinner here at the Grange St Hotel in London. It's been a great night. Long may it continue, I'm sure. Lots of people digging deep for this great cause, but also having some fun while doing it. And now it's back to you, Ian.
Thanks, Maggie, and it's great to see so many Kerry people come out in such huge numbers to support the GAA back home. If you'd like to contact the show, send an email to ian@irishtv.ie, and you can also find us on Facebook and on Twitter. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have right now, but do come back to us next week when we'll be out and about in the UK.